as we went through the course of the last 18 months, it became apparent that we have a broken, unworkable, unaffordable system left to us behind by the last Labor government.
Chris Hipkins.
Does he stand by the statement made on his behalf in question time last week, quote, "We believe that a lot of settlements being made now are settlements that should not be made," end quote? If so, which settlements does the government believe should not be made?
Well, the point that we're trying to fix up is a few things. One is the fact that we have comparators that aren't realistic, and so we're being very clear about tightening up the hierarchy of comparators. The second thing is that many of the claims have been very broad. They've been up to 90 different occupations that often come together in one claim with multiple employers. All we're doing is going back to what was proposed in 2017, before Labor passed a law, took 3 years, did it under urgency, created a lot of flaws, and now we are fixing it up. And so the question for the member again is, are you with the new system or are you going back to the old system?
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
First thing, I think the Prime Minister is well aware that he can't ask the opposition questions, but he certainly can't ask the opposition questions when he hasn't even answered the question that he was asked. The question that he was asked did have two parts. One was whether he stood by the statement that Winston Peters made on his behalf, and he hasn't indicated whether he did. And the second is, if there were specific claims that he didn't think should have been made, which ones were they? He didn't deal with either of those two things.
Well, I think he was getting to it, but Prime Minister may continue.
Yeah, I'd just say it's not up to a minister to determine the claims. We have a law to do that, and we've changed the law, and under a new law we expect pay equity claims to come forward. Sadly, we've put money aside to actually pay and make sure those settlements can be delivered. Again, the question is for the member, which system do you support? We have tightened up this legislation given how unworkable and broken it has become. We are making sure there is strong evidence for claims. If there's evidence and merit for claims, go forward. If there is, in fact, a case around stronger, tighter comparisons on comparators, if there is actually a need for us to have a longer review period, and also to make sure that actually the claim is actually specific, not broad. The system has got completely out of whack as a Labor piece of law in practice. When you have librarians being compared to fisheries officers, when you have administration workers being compared to civil engineers, it needs some sorting out. We are deeply committed to pay equity, but the practice had become unworkable, unaffordable and broken. We're fixing it, like everything. We've tightened up the criteria, going through, making sure that there's good evidence for a pay equity claim, where there is sex-based discrimination, making sure that there are a hierarchy of comparators, making sure that the claims are not broad, that they are specific, and there's a good review period. Anyone, any individual, any union can actually launch a claim under the new laws, and we encourage them to do so. The question for the member is actually, are you going to support the new, fairer, clearer system, or are you going back to the broken, unworkable, unaffordable Labor Act?